What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the game director's dev blog of Helldivers 2. Now, there is a part of this conversation which I really want to break down, which is where he talks about the war bonds and how they create them. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below. And one thing I'm going to ask you right away is please keep it civil. Let's have an awesome discussion. And I do want to say that I had the pleasure to talk with the game director while I was on the trip in Sweden to Arrowhead Studios, and the guy was awesome, bro. Like, he was genuinely very down to earth. We had a very long conversation, me, him, Thick, and Clay. And I'm sure if you ask Clay and Thick as well, they will tell you the same thing. The dude was just a good individual, you know what I mean? And we had a phenomenal, really fun conversation. That said, some of the stuff that he does break down in this dev blog really left me with some questions, and I just want to have a discussion about it. As somebody that is very passionate about the game, really loves this game, and as somebody that really wants the best for Helldivers 2. Now, you might not believe that, or you might not like my content. That is completely up to you, and I'm okay with that. But the point is, I really want this game to do well so that, you know, in the future, we all want to be making really fun, good content for the game while having a blast playing the game, right? And once I listened to this part of the dev blog, I did have questions because I was kind of stun locked, and you will see that in the video. Like, I'm very surprised with some of the things that he says, and maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Maybe he was trying to say something else. Whatever it is, I would love to hear some clarification. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, and maybe, you know, the Arrowhead devs do see this video and they would like to sit down on a podcast or an interview or whatever it is. I would love to sit down with the game director and just have a very open conversation where we can ask all the hard questions, where we can actually open up to the community. And all of that, I think, would take all of this that is currently happening in the community in a really, really good direction. I truly believe that conversation is something that makes everything better overall, and not talking to each other really doesn't go anywhere. I really believe that. So once again, hopefully that happens. I would love to talk with the game director or any of the devs for that matter and sit down and discuss some of the tough topics, the hard questions, whatever it is. And yeah, get the answers that the whole super passionate community of Helldivers 2 is looking for. Okay, so now I'm going to leave you guys with the video. I'm going to jump in somewhere in the middle just to share some thoughts once again. And do let me know what you guys think about all of this.
So when we do war bonds, for example,
this is where it gets interesting.
We try to do with
I
war
haven't
bonds,
seen this.
Okay, I'm throwing in many things here now. But what we try to do with war bonds is we try to
not all of it.
Sell a fantasy. You know, you get to feel like this, you know, type of person when you.
I'm gonna stop it right there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna crash out. I'm gonna try. I understand the whole role play idea. I get it. It's cool. That's where he's going to take it. I already know this. I've heard this conversation 50 times, right? And for the rest, I hope for the best.
When you play, right? It's not a, we're not thinking about like a power fantasy or like, oh, this weapon will be much better than every weapon that you tested before. That's not the primary thing that we think about. First, we start with.
You got your answer to everything right there. In that one sentence. The problem with what he's saying is this. Like, what you can do is, like, we always want to have the balance. So maybe one war bond will do for the weapons, one war bond will do for this. You can't just, like, it doesn't, because it kills the excitement of a lot of players. Like, when the game director is coming out and saying, we don't think about power fantasy in an alien slaying, horde shooting game, why would I be excited? Do you understand what I'm saying? If I'm trying to be excited for the future of the game, one of the most interesting parts about the game is the war bond. War bonds are literally what happened every month. That's what keeps us excited. That's what keeps us going, right? It's like, oh, what's going to be in the next warband? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be interesting? Is it going to be like strong? Is it going to be useful? Is it going to be garbage? When the game director says something like, we're not thinking about the power fantasy of the weapons, we don't care about that. All we care about is how we role play, and just democracy is in twabble, it's just not the right move. The reason I can say that without any issues is like, if this game director, right, was my own brother, I'd be calling him up and I'm like, bro, like, why are you making that mistake? Like, why would you even say that? Even if from the marketing perspective, even if you think that for real, you shouldn't say that. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say? One of the selling points of the game are being able to superpowered primaries. Yeah, what's up, Neon? Good to see you in chat, by the way. Hope all is good. Hard to roleplay when your character is getting killed unfairly all the time. I think that, like, this is one of those situations where they care about their outlook on the game, and that's the only truth, and they're willing to die on that hill, and that's about that. And if you don't like it, go fucking play another game. That's their approach. Because what are you saying? Fighting giant bugs, humanoid squids, and space robots is highly realistic, and Helldivers are cannon fodder, and fog is great? My issue is when we spoke to him in Sweden, he has such an intellectual mind. This video gave nothing and showed. That's what I said. I've always said about the game director that he was the most interesting person I talked to when I was in Sweden when it comes to the game development and how he understood the game and everything. And once again, I had the pleasure to talk with him for a very, very long time. And it was an incredible conversation. Yo, Freya! What up, Freya? Good to see you in chat. Thank you for hopping in. Stroich, hello. Good to see you. Kratos. Zara says Helldivers are not clones. I think he's a good dreamer, but not a developer. I think he is a great developer. Dude, I've talked to him personally. He has a great mind. That's the truth. He really thinks well. But like, I think there's just some things that they're doing wrong. And I think that they're a little bit, I wish they would just look at it from our perspective, man. I don't understand. Like, even from a product and consumer idea, this is not going to make sense because you want different kinds of people to like your product. So why alienate one part of the community? I don't get it.
Anything that we think about, first we start with, what's the fantasy? You know, what sort of movie trope are we trying to sell, for example, or other type of trope are we selling? And I really enjoy that. So I like to play in many different kind of ways, like playing stealthy ways, playing, you know, more berserker brute ways.
He mentions stealthier, and as the video will go on, he will also mention essentially what I think he was talking about was melee combat, right? So I have a few questions, and this is what really stun-locked me, so to speak, right? And one of the things was, like, for all the people that don't know, currently in the game, there is no real stealth mechanic. By the way, Thick has an awesome video where he showcases all of this, but I'm going to try to explain it in a very simple way for you guys, right? So if you're using a weapon and it has a silencer and you hear the silencer in effect, that's just you hearing it, okay? But if you really go in depth, you will see that these weapons, right, they all have the same amount. Imagine like same number. For example, the number is 10. All of them have the same sound frequency, like the same volume, okay? And if I'm just using the wrong words here, please remember English isn't my first language, but I'm trying my best. But the point is, right, so imagine most of the weapons, 99% of the weapons have the volume at 10, and no matter what you as a player hear it, that's how the enemies perceive it. Once again, like 95% of the time. So the game really doesn't have in-depth stealth mechanics. So that's why I was really surprised when he said, you know, I really enjoy playing stealth. The war bonds are built around those kind of things. And also melee. And melee is a very, very, very niche play style, which, by the way, they nerfed further, and to the point that you can't really make it work on higher difficulty against the bugs. I mean, if you really force yourself, yes, but even before the nerf, it was barely used, and the only thing that it had really going for it was on the bug side, and that was the fact that you could, like, for example, stun with the stun lance when it comes to the chargers, and that did come in handy. And you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, that I used to put together some melee builds on streams, and we used to do like full clears and whatnot, and it was really fun to do. But now, since the nerf, you can't really do anything to the charges, so I completely just stopped playing melee. So when the game director is saying these things, maybe there is something that we are literally misunderstanding. Maybe that he's saying, trying to say something else, because if not, those things from my understanding of the game are not even possible in Helldivers 2. You know what I mean? At least not to the extent where you can say that, dude, let's go play stealthy. If we're talking about the fact that, you know what, we're going to pretend we're playing stealthy and we're just going to, you know, kill enemies from afar with a sniper, fair enough. But that's what I would like to understand here, honestly, because I was bamboozled. And even saying this, I think it could have been worded a little bit in a better way, because what's happening is now people that are really excited for War Bonds, the part of the community that wants to be, you know, excited for the upcoming weapons and gear, I feel like they're not gonna be anymore, because we're at that point where, you know, the devs are saying we don't really think about making, you know, power fantasy and creating power fantasy and building weapons around power fantasy, right? So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to keep the video going. I don't even remember if I go on a rant in that video or not. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. And once again, let me know what you guys think.
Different kind of ways, like playing stealthy ways, playing, you know, more berserker brute ways.
I'm going to Super!
Another example of toxic positivity killing the game.
I'm on Super!
Thai community managers. Twinbeard, we miss you so much.
Twinbeard was a G. I absolutely love Mitchimus as well. You know, he's been a great dude. Yeah, I don't know if it's just that, though. Thank you so much for the 5, Raiko. I appreciate the dono. I really do. Helps a lot, means a lot, as I always like to say. And thank you once again for the love. But I don't think it's just that, man, Raiko. I don't think it's just that. And like Berserk, like wouldn't that word on its own, doesn't it imply some kind of power fantasy? So then in the previous sentence, you're saying you don't think about the power fantasy of the weapons in the war bonds. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand it's melee, right? But that's the whole point, right? Stun Lance and Shield is solid, but you're forced to take Peak Physique, which is stupid. Just give us Transmog. Well, it's not even solid anymore, though. They took away the ability to stun chargers and stuff, and it was only really viable on bugs because you're not going to be meleeing automatons. I think they are just stubborn on the basis that they have a vision and they are not willing to steer from it, but it's not going to work in their favor. It's silly. Typical game developers. I mean, it's their decision. But we are going to see this game below 10,000 players. We are going to see that. You know what's going to happen? Probably in the next 2 months. It's going to happen. Unfortunately. Do I want to see that? No. Hell no. Do I hope I'm wrong? Hell yes. Do I think I will be wrong? No. I don't think so. I think it's going to happen very soon. You're right. I just do not understand why they're willing to die on this hill, because it's something that I will also never understand, probably. ADV with the 20.
Berserker Brute playstyle? Ah yes, in the game wearing 3 shot in less than a second, even wearing heavy armor with extra padding. Yeah, sure man. That totally works.
Berserker Brute playstyle? Oh yes, in the game where I'm 3 shot in less than a second, even wearing heavy armor with extra padding. Yeah, sure, man. That totally works. Says ADV with a $20 donation. Thank you so much for the love. That's the point. Like, is this genuinely a disconnect? Is that what it is, guys?
I what that dono sound is, but hear it again cause Pips is a real one. Who's also very handsome and has absurdly large biceps.
Yo, you tell him, ADV. Yo, ADV, you tell him, baby. Look, ADV, look. Here's a special little peek. Look. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay, I think, like, that was the most important part of the interview for me personally. And I don't know, boys. As I said, we'll see where the game goes. We'll see. Can they top the stuff that they've added to the game? Do we really think, and this is what I would love to hear in the comment section, is do we think they're going to top Illuminate Invasion? Do we think they're gonna top the Hive Lords and whatever? We'll have to wait and see. I personally think that if the performance isn't fixed very, very fast and some content isn't adjusted and stuff like that, you know, It might get crazy over here. And I really hope I'm wrong on this one, man. I really do, because I do love the game. I believe after the next update, 90% of people can't even log in to the game. Let's hope that is not the case. I wish the game the very, very best. And let's see where we go. Make sure to let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section. And let's have a civil, constructive conversation.